What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining us. We got an exciting guest, Stephen with Sword Fishing Products. I've known Stephen for a number of years and followed a lot of what he's been doing. Excited to have him on the podcast. Stephen, welcome.
Yeah, it's good to be here, Braxton.
Awesome. So you're down in Destin, obviously one of the fishing capitals of the United States. Tell us a little bit about Sword. How did you get started? Kind of what inspired you to start doing fishing products.
Yeah, so I graduated college and I moved to New York City and tried to start chasing a kind of a corporate grind. And through that corporate grind, I realized that, life wasn't all about just living in a big city and
Right.
doing something super corporate, working your way up a ladder. And I thought to myself, like, what do I really, truly have a passion for? And what is actually needed in the market? And I felt like, I had this insane passion for saltwater fishing. And I'm batshit crazy about saltwater fishing.
Yeah.
And I realized there wasn't a brand in the market that was catering toward that group of people. There was so many brands that, they just created consumable product. You use it a couple times and you throw it away.
Right.
And I wanted to start with the crazy ones in mind and then work backwards. So everything we do is made to be abused. And we just really wanted to get into something that was a more higher end, higher quality product, a premium product, so to speak.
Yeah. So obviously you have a passion for saltwater. Do you have a favorite type of fish to catch? Any, preferences whenever you get out on the boat?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest and baddest fish in the sea, everyone thinks like this big tuna, they think these big marlin, but
Yeah.
dude, I am obsessed with wahoo fishing.
Wahoo. All right.
For some reason, you can leave Destin, and within the hour, you can be wahoo fishing. And it's not like, you don't have to go 36 hours. You don't have to go for a full day trip. Like you literally can leave the path
Right.
and find these like speedsters. And I think my favorite thing is when they hit, it's like smoking drag off the reel for at
Right.
least the first minute of excitement. And then, the fish comes up, you gap them and they're in the boat. And then you turn around and you do it all over again. It's very like quick, fast paced, not long, drawn out like some other species.
Right. Well, talking about species that might be long and drawn out, I got to ask. So, uh, tell me the story about this fish and kind of this catch because it's super impressive. I've seen it on your social media a number of times. Kind of walk us through like how long did it take to even get it in the boat?
Yeah, so this fish was it's a particularly special fish. If you see my friend here in the photo, we had taken about 2 or 3 trips over the course of a couple years, and we've had a bunch of heartbreaks. And so we had been searching for a big daddy fish or big mama fish for a while. And so this particular trip, it was in December, which personally I love fishing in the winter. The winter is like my favorite thing. You can see we both have grunts on. He just got done fighting the fish, so he doesn't have a jacket on. But I got my jacket on. I mean, that is my fishing weather. I'd rather be bundled up than sweating balls. And so for us, on this particular trip, it was all about patience. We had to really stay patient because at the very beginning of the trip, I made the decision to only chase live bait.
Okay.
So when you live bait fishing, we left the pass in Destin, and typically you start trying to catch bait around the sea buoy. And because we couldn't catch any bait around the sea buoy, that means we'd have to take even more time to catch bait elsewhere. So
Right.
on our way out to the rig, just was caught at the blind bait off of close to Louisiana than it is Destin. And on the way out, we stopped at the golf pads that are over here in Okaloosa County. They're fish traction devices, and they're just giant buoys sitting in the water. We drop a sabiki down deep, and we didn't even know if we were going to catch bait there. It was kind of just like 1 or 2 at a time, and this was the key to the whole trip. So we started catching a little bit of bait at a time. we may had pulled up to the rig with 20, 25 pieces of bait, which is nothing. I mean, that is like slim picking,
Yeah.
but we knew we had the right bait, and all we had to do was like stay patient. And we invested a heavy amount of time into catching it. So we also invested a heavy amount of time in making sure we were soaking the bait. Uh, on this particular fish, we understood that like fish were hanging out below the thermocline. So when you're looking at your sounder, you can actually see a bright red line or like a scattery line. And these big eye tunas like this always hang out right below that thermocline.
All
And
right.
they may even feed below that thermocline because most of the time they're coming up above it. And for us, it's like, okay, how do you get a bait down there? Well, you just sit there. It's a Carolina rig. I mean, you're taking a sinker with a leader and you're dropping it straight down and you're putting it at the thermocline. And then we put the rod in the rod holder. And my friend Jason here is on the boat and he's hanging out around the rod, just making sure if anything goes wrong. And I said, hey, Jason, like there's a mark on the sounder. So you can see the thermocline, you can see a mark,
Right.
boomerang. And this fish, we watched the fish eat the bait on the sounder.
That's cool.
And so as like this bait's getting eaten, the rod's starting to go. Jason picks up the rod, tightened the drag, and the fight was on. And we were way under gun in this fish, which seemed to be the story of my life. I always seen the biggest fish hit the weakest reels, weakest rods. But the reel was not set up to handle a fish of this size, and it was actually starting to malfunction during the fight.
Oh, wow.
What happens is if you tighten the drag too much, it won't smoothly let drag off the reel whenever the rod is whenever a fish is pulling out. And
Right.
tunas, they're fighting up and down. This isn't a billfish that's making a run straight out. So it's up and down. So as that tuna is going down and it's thumping its tail, like the rod was just like, and then stopping and then
Yep.
really loading up and then, and this like when it's just kind of like doing the inconsistent pull out, you have a risk of either like breaking the line or losing the fish. So Jason's sitting there trying to adjust the drag because we had too much on him to break its spirit. And that's just what you have to do with these fish. You have to break the fish's spirit or it's going to
Right.
break you. So we always say, like, you're fighting fish. Like, and the fish is also, like, if you're not fighting the fish is resting. And
Yeah.
it's just like sitting there, like, catching some air, enjoying itself. So we just took the fight to the fish, and about 45 minutes later, we see the fish kind of coming up to the surface. His spirit was fully broken.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like you can't see in the picture, but about 300 yards off, another one of my buddies fishing near us. And just right after we hooked that, he hooked another one. He was fighting it for over 2 hours and lost it.
Wow.
So
Dang.
for this one, like we just smashed the spirit, got him up to the surface, and then you can see this little rope here in the photo. That's actually a harpoon. So Jason's brother, Jesse, who's equally as badass, took the harpoon. I mean, I would have said if it was about 3 inches more towards the pec fin, that would have been better, but that's probably a pretty perfect dart shot. And what happens with the dart, so the dart's flat as it goes in, and then when it hits the meat, it turns sideways, so it can't be pulled out. And
Right.
it's kind of like a T, so it's stuck in there. But once the dart was in there, the fish gave up, and we got it in the boat. It's a 172-pound big eye.
Wow.
So it was, I guess it's one of those catches that you finally have the monkey off your back.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
you can go catch something else now. You can go focus on another type of fish.
Yeah. Well, I'm impressed that it only took 45 minutes because I hear these stories of, 2, 3, 4, or 5 hours, just battling a fish. So for you guys to be able to get this thing in the boat in less than an hour, that's impressive within itself.
It was definitely a catch of a lifetime, and you always get a couple shots every time in your life. So, and that was one of them. Most of the time, you get the story of all right, that one got away.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you talked a little bit about how you built product that is battle tested and specifically for saltwater fishing. So tell us a little bit about what type of products that you have. What's your best seller? What are people reaching out to you to purchase?
Yeah, so right now, we built our business on, at the beginning, we were focused on fillet knives,
Okay.
but more specifically, fishing tools. So any kind of hand tool that we call like the non-angling category is where sword will eventually expand to. So our first product is, like I said, the knife, and then we're actually coming out with a pair of titanium pliers, high-end, sweet pliers that are basically indestructible.
Yeah.
So we have one 7-inch pair now, and then we're coming out with a 6-inch pair. Hopefully by March or April, we should have those in. And
Awesome.
so those three products is what we've started with, and we're going to be expanding into tackle storage. We'll be expanding into snips, gaps, nets, just kind of a whole array of product that will be able to be abused
Yeah.
and last, and they're backed by a lifetime warranty. And something I'm super excited about is for the folks down in Texas. And I grew up there a lot, and I did a bunch of wade fishing down there, which is the go-to. We're gonna try to. We're not gonna try. We're gonna come up with a really indestructible wade pack. Uh,
Okay.
so it'll be a high-end wade pack for all those Texas anglers that are jumping in and out of the water every day with
Yeah.
some new features. But that's a couple years down the line. But it's one of the things we've talked a lot with Texas anglers about.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that.
That's awesome. So how do people get in touch with you? How can they go and purchase some of the knives or some of the products that you got out there?
Yeah, the best way to do it is to get on the website, and we have a swordfishingproducts.com. It's just as simple as a couple click, go on and check out the website, check out the knives, and we're actually going to be at the Houston Fishing Show
Okay.
in March. So I'm sure quite a few of you guys will come by. At the George R. Brown Convention Center. But we'll be there. That's our first show we'll be doing in Texas, and we'll be back and forth there for quite a while. But for the best part to do it right now is to go online and check it out. They make excellent gifts because you always have somebody in your family who you don't know what to get them, but who doesn't like a sweet night?
Yeah.
So they make an incredible gift around the holiday season. So check them out and get one for your dad or your grandpa or your brother-in-law.
Definitely. No, that's a good point. You got holiday season coming up, so it would be a great stocking stuffer. No, dude, I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us today. Really appreciated the time. Really, enjoyed the conversation. For those that have tuned in that are going to watch this, again, this is Steven with Sword Fishing Products. Go check them out. Go look at their website, and we'll talk to y'all next time. Take care.